Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lin. Namaskar. Coming up in News Hour. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar meets his German counterpart in Berlin. Germany backs India's fight against terrorism and right of self-defense. Condemns Pahalgam terror attack. India intensifies global campaign against Pakistan-sponsored terror as multi-party delegations continue diplomatic offensive. US President Trump announces 50% tariff on European Union beginning June 1 and cites trade deficit and barriers. Harvard University sues the Trump administration over foreign student enrollment ban, calling the action unlawful and harmful. Iran and the US hold their fifth round of nuclear talks in Rome amid tense rhetoric. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Friday said that India has zero tolerance for terrorism and will never give in to nuclear blackmail. The External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, who is visiting Germany, made these remarks during a joint press conference with the German Foreign Minister Johann Wadful in Berlin.
I come to Berlin in the immediate aftermath of India responding to the Pahalgam terror attack. India has zero tolerance for terrorism. India will never give in to nuclear blackmail. And India will deal with Pakistan purely bilaterally. There should be no confusion in any quarter in that regard. We also value Germany's understanding that every nation has the right to defend itself against terrorism.
The German Foreign Minister Johann Wadful expressed strong support for India after the Pahalgam terror attack and Operation Sindoor and said that every country has the right to defend itself against terrorism.
We all were appalled by the brutal terrorist attack on India on the 22nd of April. We condemned this attack on civilians in the strongest terms. Our deepest sympathy goes out to all victims and their families. After military attacks on both sides, and India, of course, has every right to defend itself against terrorism, the fact that now a truce is in place is something we appreciate very much. What is important now is that this truce remains stable, that dialogue can happen in order to find bilateral solutions for that conflict, taking into account the vital interests on both sides. Part of this, of course, is naturally effective cooperation in the fight against terrorism. Germany and India have been fostering a regular dialogue on the fight against terrorism for years, and we intend to intensify it further.
India continues its global campaign against Pakistan-sponsored terrorism with 3 multi-party delegations engaged in diplomatic efforts and 4 more set to depart within 2 days. The Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri briefed members of Parliament ahead of their international outreach. Let's look at this report.
India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri briefed 4 more multi-party MP delegations on Friday evening ahead of their visits abroad to take India's strong message against terrorism to the world. The delegations led by BJP MP Baijanta Panda, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor and NCP-SCP leader Supriya Sule will leave for their visits on Saturday, whereas the delegation led by BJP MP Ravi Shankar Prasad will leave on Sunday. Meanwhile, on Friday, the third multi-party delegation led by DMK Member of Parliament Kanimoy arrived in Moscow. The delegation was received by India's ambassador to Russia, Vinay Kumar. The delegation, which carries forth India's strong message of zero tolerance against terrorism, interacted with senior dignitaries from the Federation Council and the State Duma of the Federal Assembly of the Russian Federation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and other key interlocutors, think tanks, and media.
We all know that Russia has been a strategic partner, and we've always worked together on diplomatic issues when it comes to trade, and the heads of our states have always worked together when it comes to important issues, whether it's of global importance or which is of interest to India and Russia.
The delegation led by Shiv Sena MP Shrikant Eknath Shinde also held talks in the UAE, where they met Sheikh Nayan Mubarak Al Nayan, Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence.
We invited Pakistan to India. We gave them evidences. We gave them evidences of the terrorists. The DNA samples were also given. Evidence were given of Pathankot attack. Evidence were given of Mumbai attacks. But still, no reaction from Pakistan.
The delegation also met with Director General of the Anwar Gargash Diplomatic Academy, Nikolai E. Nadinov, in Abu Dhabi, and interacted with the Indian community in the UAE, where the members shared the new India and new normal which has appeared after the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack. Another all-party outreach delegation is in Tokyo, Japan, led by JDU MP Sanjay Kumar Jha. The leader reaffirmed India's actions against terrorism and told the diplomats and representatives from several countries about the new normal in place against terrorism.
If any country is promoting, financing, training them, how come Osama bin Laden has not found anywhere in the world? He found in Pakistan, just next to their airbase. Every terrorist activity in the world has some or other link in Pakistan.
Armed with dossier highlighting Pakistan's decades-long support and promotion of terror and India's new norm in tackling cross-border terrorism, multi-party delegations are exposing Pakistan globally, and their efforts have started fetching results. Bureau Report, DD India.
Meanwhile, the Tiranga Yatra, launched in the wake of Operation Sindoor, continues to unite citizens across India in a powerful show of patriotism and national pride. Initiated under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Yatra celebrates the courage of its armed forces and the firm stance taken against terrorism. The enthusiasm of the people was high even on the last day. Across cities and towns in Uttar Pradesh and also Dibrugarh and Amethi, massive crowds gathered and waved Indian flags in their hands. Now, the event also saw participation from ex-servicemen and also trade representatives. In Jaipur, women led a Sindoor Shaurya and Tiranga Yatra from the State Assembly to Amar Jawan Jyotri, waving flags and also chanting patriotic slogans to honor the courage of the Indian forces. The Yatra serves not only as a tribute but also as a call to citizens to uphold national unity and pride. The US President Donald Trump has announced that he is charging 50% tariff on EU goods starting June 1, citing trade difficulties. Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, asserting that the European Union was created primarily to exploit the United States in trade and had been difficult to negotiate with. He criticized the EU's trade barriers, VAT, taxes, corporate penalties and monetary policies, which he claimed had contributed to a US trade deficit exceeding $250 million annually. Now, declaring that discussions were failing to make progress, he recommended imposing a 50% tariff on EU goods starting June 1, 2025, while exempting products manufactured within the United States. President Trump announced the tariff plan after threatening Apple with a 25% duty if it doesn't manufacture iPhones in the US. Stock futures dropped following his posts. And Wall Street stocks opened lower Friday after fresh tariff threats by the US President Donald Trump against the European Union and Apple. Shortly after the opening bell, the S&P 500 was down 1.2% after Trump warned of 50% tariffs on EU goods and 25% tariffs on Apple. The statements returned Trump's aggressive trade policy to the foreground after the market's focus shifted earlier this week to congressional debate on Trump's tax bill. Harvard University sued the Trump administration on Friday over its decision to revoke the Ivy League schools' ability to enroll foreign students. Harvard University filed a lawsuit in Boston federal court, calling the government's revocation of its ability to enroll foreign students a blatant violation of the U.S. Constitution and federal law. The university stated that the decision had an immediate and devastating effect on more than 7,000 visa holders and significantly impacted Harvard's mission. Harvard argued that international students are an essential part of its academic community, stating, "Without its international students, Harvard is not Harvard." The lawsuit urged the federal judge to block the revocation, citing irreparable harm caused by the action. The case has been assigned to U.S. District Judge Alison Burroughs. Meanwhile, the White House has dismissed the lawsuit. The spokesperson Abigail Jackson rejected Harvard's claims. Iran and the United States held a fifth round of talks in Rome on Tehran's nuclear program amid uncompromising rhetoric on both sides. The talks followed previous negotiations in both Rome and in Muscat. Fuzail Ahmed reports.
The fifth round of talks between the United States and Iran were held in Rome on Friday to resolve the dispute over Tehran's nuclear ambitions. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff led the talks from Iran and the US sides. However, doubts over success of talks persisted. Iran's foreign ministry raised questions over US positions.
Given the contradictory and inconsistent positions we have heard from various American officials over the past week, as well as the new round of sanctions against the Islamic Republic of Iran, it is natural that these issues will certainly be raised very quickly and seriously with the other side at the outset of the indirect talks.
Israel's ambassador to the US, Yishai Leiter, warned Iran cannot have a path to nuclear weapons.
President Trump has been very clear. Our Prime Minister Netanyahu has been very clear, and I think they're in lockstep on this. Iran cannot have a path to nuclear weapons. And as long as they have the option of enrichment, there's no need for enrichment.
Earlier, the fourth round of talks were held on the 11th of May this year in Muscat, Oman. Indirect and direct discussions lasted over 3 hours. These talks were described as more serious and straightforward by Araghchi. The US reiterated its demand for no enrichment and dismantling of facilities in Natanz, Fordow, and Isfahan, while Iran maintained enrichment as non-negotiable. Since returning to the White House, US President Donald Trump has been pushing for talks, asking Iran to completely stall its military nuclear program. Amidst calls for talks, President Trump has also been rationing up sanctions. He's also suggested, in case the talks fail, a military strike by Israel or the US targeting Iranian nuclear sites. Fuzail Ahmed's report, DD India.
Still to come here on DD India News Hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Rising Northeast Investor Summit 2025. Japan pledges immediate rice relief for consumers to prevent shift to foreign brands. Massive lightning flashes seen from space station over the eastern and southern United States.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Mark Lynn. Now, Bangladesh's interim administration is facing deepening instability as political tensions escalate. Mohamed Yunus, the interim leader, is reportedly considering stepping down. Media restrictions, too, are silencing dissent in an already volatile landscape. An undercurrent of discord seems to be coming to the surface. Let's look at this report. The political climate in Bangladesh is getting rough. In fact, a bit too turbulent for Mohamed Yunus, Bangladesh's interim leader, who is now mulling resignation. Due to political turmoil and stalled reforms, Yunus is facing the heat. Since replacing Sheikh Hasina, he has faced intense pressure from divided parties. The interim government has banned the Awami League under anti-terror laws, citing alleged crimes during last year's protests. Media restrictions have also increased.
The media is writing and reporting matters, but many of our editors, many of our key people in the media, they are not facing or feeling safe.
Yunus plans to hold elections in June 2026. But the BNP, which is questioning the inordinate delay, is demanding a date this year. He feels trapped amid protests and infighting. The BNP warns it may withdraw support without a clear plan, aiming to stabilize Bangladesh and strengthen regional ties.
We should all together make sure that South Asia is a stable area where to see the development, economic and otherwise, of the people of South Asia, and lift up the people out of poverty. This is still one of the most poverty-ridden regions in the world.
There is also reported tension between Yunus and the military, with Bangladesh's Army Chief General Waqar-uz-Zaman insisting that elections be held by December 2025. Yunus and the military disagree over election timing, port management and Myanmar's corridor. His remarks in China on northeast India being landlocked also stirred controversy with India.
All the Islamist parties, the jihadis, they're talking about the greater Bangladesh, and they're talking about including northeast and many other countries and so on. So in that sense, he is trying to say that I want to promote relations with northeast India and Bangladesh. This is the old BBIN that he is trying to promote.
Indian leaders criticized Yunus's remarks as undermining sovereignty. Bangladesh restricted Indian cotton and yarn imports, prompting India to ban land route imports from Bangladesh on May 17. Trade now flows only through Mumbai and Kolkata ports, reshaping Bangladesh's economic ties. Clearly, Bangladesh's political landscape is evolving real fast, the layers of which are not fully visible yet. Bureau Report, DD India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Rising Northeast Investor Summit in New Delhi, showcasing the region as a land of immense opportunity, calling the Northeast a new frontrunner of growth. He emphasized peace, development and a strong investment climate. The two-day summit brings together global and domestic stakeholders with key focus sectors ranging from tourism to IT and energy.
With an aim to highlight India's northeast region as a land of opportunities, attracting global and domestic investment and bringing together key stakeholders, investors and policymakers on a single platform, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Rising Northeast Investor Summit at Bharat Mandapam, New Delhi on Friday. Expressing pride, warmth and immense confidence in the future of the Northeast region, Prime Minister pointed out there was a time when the Northeast was merely called a frontier region, but it is emerging as the frontrunner of growth today.
हम लुक ईस्ट से आगे बढ़कर एक्ट ईस्ट के मंत्र पर चले और इसी का परिणाम आज हम देख रहे हैं। एक समय था जब नॉर्थ ईस्ट को सिर्फ फ्रंटियर रीजन कहा जाता था, आज ये ग्रोथ का फ्रंट रनर बन रहा है।
Reaffirming that peace and law and order are the most crucial factors for any region's development, PM Modi said the government has zero tolerance policy against terrorism and insurgency.
किसी भी क्षेत्र के विकास के लिए सबसे जरूरी है शांति और कानून व्यवस्था। आतंकवाद हो या अशांति फैलाने वाले माओवादी, हमारी सरकार जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति पर चलती है।
Key focus sectors for investment promotion are tourism and hospitality, agro-food processing, textiles, handloom and handicrafts, healthcare, education and skill development, IT-enabled services, infrastructure and logistics, energy and entertainment and sports. The summit will feature ministerial sessions, B2G and B2B meetings, startup showcases, and exhibitions highlighting investment initiatives by state and central governments. Speaking at the event, Reliance Industries Chairman Mukesh Ambani emphasized the Northeast's rapid growth and announced plans to double Reliance's investments in the region.
The Northeast is not just rising, but to my mind, it is roaring. I make 6 commitments to the Chief Ministers of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. First, Reliance has invested up around rupees 30,000 crores in the region in the past 40 years. In the next 5 years, we will more than double our investments with our target at 75,000 crores.
The 2-day Rising Northeast Investor Summit from May 23rd to 24th marks the culmination of pre-summit activities including roadshows, state roundtables, ambassadors meet and bilateral chambers meet organized by the central government with strong support from northeastern state governments. Rabindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
President Volodymyr Zelensky announced on Friday that Ukraine has brought back 390 people from Russian captivity. Now, this is the first phase of 1,000 for 1,000 prisoner exchange, which was agreed between Ukraine and Russia in Istanbul. Zelensky added that the exchange is expected to continue over the weekend, with more returns planned for Saturday and Sunday. Japan is facing a severe rice crisis, with prices nearly doubling due to poor production, aging farmers, as well as supply shortages. Despite realizing and releasing stockpiles, the prices remain high, prompting new Agriculture Minister Shinjiro Koizumi to act swiftly. With rice deeply tied to Japanese culture, the soaring costs are intensifying political pressure ahead of the July elections. Rabindra Chauhan reports.
Poor rice production, aging farmers and lack of their successors, allegations of hoarding, poor policies and geopolitical crisis affecting supplies. Japan is grappling with a rice crisis as prices have nearly doubled over the past year due to inflation and supply shortages. Despite tapping into government reserves, prices remain high, with Koshi Hikari rice reaching 5,000 yen or $35 for 5 kgs. In April, rice prices rose 98.4% year on year, following a 92.5% increase in March.
The rice price hike is really troublesome. Rice is something we eat every day. People can't do without rice, so food price hikes are the biggest headache.
Japan's new agriculture minister Shinjiro Koizumi has pledged to quickly release rice from stockpiles to control soaring prices and limit reliance on exports. His appointment follows the resignation of Taku Ito, who stepped down after public backlash over his remarks that he never had to buy rice due to gifts from his supporters. Japan's current rice crisis is driven by multiple factors. experts point to last summer's panic buying, a surge in tourism, rising wheat prices due to Ukraine war, and a poor harvest in 2023 caused by extreme heat. Additionally, some blame wholesalers for hoarding rice to keep prices high. Some experts also say rice production has declined due to long-standing policies to reduce cultivation and an aging farming population, with most farmers over 60 and lacking successors. Rice is more than a staple food in Japan. In fact, it's deeply woven into the nation's culture and identity. The current surge in prices has reignited public frustration, placing mounting pressure on Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba ahead of the July elections. With Rabindra Chauhan, Amit Mukherjee for DD India.
Let's take a look now at other stories making news around the world. Sotheby's is showcasing rare items from Napoleon's life in Hong Kong before they go on sale in Paris this June. Visitors can see personal artifacts and belongings from the French Emperor at this exhibition. Tor Alva, one of the world's tallest 3D printed structures, was unveiled in the small Swiss village of Mullinge. And nearly 30 meters high, this white concrete tower is open for guided tours. The developers say that the project highlights innovative construction and aims to boost sustainable tourism in the region. After days of torrential rain, rain clouds cleared away and Sydney had a dry night for its 15th annual Festival of Light on Friday. The Sydney Opera House was illuminated by the deceased artist David McDermott's works. Held over 23 days, the Vivid Festival will run until the 14th of June. Footage captured by the International Space Station's astronaut Anne McLean. It showed lightning flashes during a nighttime pass over the eastern and southern United States. After the release of the footage, McLean said that some of these flashes were as large as cities. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. We'll get expert opinion on Bangladesh's political turmoil and the interim head, Yunus, offering to resign. Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's a recap of our main news. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar meets his German counterpart in Berlin. Germany backs India's fight against terrorism and right of self-defense. Condemns Pahalgam terror attack. India intensifies global campaign against Pakistan-sponsored terror as multi-party delegations continue diplomatic offensive. Harvard University sues the Trump administration over foreign student enrollment ban, calling the action unlawful and harmful. Iran and the US hold the fifth round of nuclear talks in Rome amid tense rhetoric. And going back to our story on the situation in Bangladesh, Ambassador Anil Kumar Trigunayat is joining us, former senior diplomat who has served in Bangladesh. Thank you very much, Ambassador Trigunayat. Now, what are the key challenges, that Mohamed Yunus faced in trying to implement reforms in Bangladesh, or was it, a lack of will on his part?
No, it's not lack of will. I think it's lack of experience and deep-seated prejudice. And that has probably brought him to this kind of a situation. Thirdly, I feel that it is also because his desire to continue in the seat. Because you see, once you get the power, it's very difficult to abdicate it. And most of the time you have to go unceremoniously. And unfortunately, that has been the situation. Large number of people in the country expect him, the other political parties, except some of these Islamist parties and some new parties of the youth. Everybody else wanted that there should be elections. And there should be a properly elected government which is legitimate and is able to carry forward the reforms in the country to bring the economy back, bring the polity back in the country, put the society together. What he has been basically trying to do was try to divide Bangladesh, try to appease a certain section of the society and certain external powers. And then in that process, he has tried to integrate India also, worked on against our interests in every which way that is possible. Despite that, India continued to support Bangladeshi people all through these 7-8 months. And we have always said that there should be a proper transition to democracy in the country. And that's precisely what the General Zaman, who's the army chief, has asked him. Now, of course, while he was away to Russia, then Mr. Yunus appointed a national security advisor and Khalil Rahman. And that gentleman started working with some of the army people, deputy chief and others who are pro-Pakistani in that sense. And you know that interventions of Pakistan, of China, of US has tremendously increased in Bangladesh, much to their own disadvantage.
Now, the immediate point of contention is the election date. It's a dispute. What's the potential consequences of this? How far can the parties take it?
Well, the BNP from the very beginning, which is the only other party, because now the Awami League, he has banned at least for some more time, and they might not be able to participate in the election, even though according to most estimates, they still account for 40% of the electorate in the country. So it is a significant party. That means they will try to contest election as on the non-Awami League symbol. So you'll have a very peculiar situation. Likewise, the PNP has been wanting the elections for quite some time. And the army chief, what he said yesterday to Mr. Yunus, and Mr. Yunus has been taking a lot of decisions which only a properly elected government should take. For example, the Rakhine corridor at the behest of the Americans and the UN, giving something to near Chicken's neck to China to develop that corridor, talking about in China about India's 7 states. So he has been trying to create a lot of mischief, whether it's due to political inexperience or it is because just he wants to appease certain sections. So what we are looking at is that the General Zaman yesterday told him that there should be elections before December or by December, so that there is a transition to a proper government which can then decide the democratically elected government. And that should be inclusive. Inclusive means all political parties must be able to participate. Mr. Yunus has been wanting to hang on till July, and he said that that. But today it seems to me, there is a vote of confidence, no vote of confidence in him by all sections of the society. It's normal that whenever there are some kind of these disruptive changes take place in a polity of a country, people who felt that Sheikh Hasina had not done enough for them, obviously they expected certain miracles. They expected a betterment for the ordinary people within Bangladesh. But that did not happen. Instead, the misery has increased tremendously.
Indeed.
People are suffering a great deal. There is no law and order, actually.
Let's break down a little bit of what you've said, Ambassador Trigunayat. He wants to stay, of course, till July of 2026. But you know, Yunus and the military, you were talking a little bit about that. Is this relationship likely to push this elder statesman out of interim office? After all, he's a Nobel laureate.
Well, he can be a Nobel laureate, but that doesn't mean he can be a good prime minister or a president or, you know, that's a different cup of tea. I mean, people respected him. And he has been talking, but he has been parachuted essentially from the United States by the CIA and others. That's everybody knows it. Why? And that is also very clear. That was the Sino-US contestation in Bangladesh. And that's precisely the reason. So he is finding it difficult whether to go to China, whether to go to US or to Pakistan for that matter. Okay. And in that process, he's trying to sail into 3-4 boats. And the only end result of that boat, that thing is merely you just sink, because nobody is going to solve the issue in the end. But army in the place at the moment, and he also tried to divide, create a division between the number 1, number 2, like that kind of thing, or Quartermaster General Rahman and others. So this is something I believe has created a lot of anxiety even in the army chief. General
Indeed. He has made comments about the Northeast, which you also mentioned. Now, these comments, is this going to become an issue between India and Bangladesh going forward, do you think?
I mean, it has already begun. And we have protested to that very strongly. And we conveyed it in as many words, besides by action also.
No, I'm saying, I'm asking from the point of view, will it constantly be raised, you know, like a thorn in the side, that, you know, and the offer that he keeps giving to China to develop certain regions and things like that. Will future governments in Bangladesh also try and do the same thing?
I doubt very much. I think, suppose, let us say 1% if the BNP comes to power. Obviously, I mean, relations can't be at the same level. But most likely, we have seen the earlier BNP government also, that what they try to do, try to be a bit more pragmatic and not hostile. In his case, it has been that he has just, he has gone to the exactly other side of the pendulum. And that is something I believe is causing a problem. I mean, you know, people see for themselves that India has tried to help them. All through our only expectation was that there will be no security issue from Bangladeshi side at least. But that you cannot say today. Only I think today or yesterday he cancelled one of the, some manufacturing contract for the boats or whatever. It was there. He just cancelled that like that. So he's going more towards Pakistan, Turkey, China, in that kind of thing.
Right, indeed.
But I doubt very much that the new government will have the same kind of attitude towards India.
Ambassador Trigunayat, also this ban on the Awami League. Now, what legitimacy will it give, you know, any democratic process that follows? You were saying that they have a sizable following as well, even now.
Well, this actually, it has happened earlier also. During Sheikh Hasina's time, they did not allow the BNP to contest the elections, so they all contested as independents and things like that. So Bangladesh has a peculiar problem, I would say, in terms of maintaining the democratic credentials to that extent. And you know that there was the Summit of Democracies in which Bangladesh was excluded by United States. Of course, that was for a very devious design to remove Sheikh Hasina. But at the same time, these things have a perception management problem, and that's what the ordinary people in Bangladesh felt because of that. So if this government does the same thing, then obviously they are counting, not counting the hazards they are engaging in. So I think that politically it will be quite difficult for them to sustain.
Finally, Ambassador Trigunayat, you know, there's increasing media restrictions. At least we had a soundbite of one of the editors saying that they fear for themselves if they write, they write fearlessly. So with these restrictions, also the public discourse and transparency, all that is going to affect the elections whenever they do come. or even the desire for an election, there are lots of undercurrents that are currently at play, would you say? And the media is not able to actually convey them.
You know, Mark, the governments have to really remember that these kind of media gag is not going to always work out. We have seen in India in 1975 when there was the biggest ban, still the communications were going on among the opposition, even though they were jailed large number of times. That continued. During the independence struggle, we have seen that against the British, that how our communication networks, people are very innovative. And today in this age of social media, it is extremely difficult to keep these. And if you see the social media buzz, that will give you certain kind of maybe a heightened alarm, but that definitely communicates to a large number of people. And when I was there a few months ago, I saw on an average everybody seemed unhappy that what is happening? I mean, where are we heading? Why aren't we getting what we expected? Because it's normal for people to expect miracles after these kinds of disruptive times. But nothing has happened. So instead of doing that, he started big way reforming the constitution, amending the constitution, reforming the electoral laws, doing this or that, which are not even in the remit of him. And that's what has been objected by the Army General. Even Rakhine corridor, you know, that creating this helping Arkan army and all that. So I think that he has probably exceeded his belief.
Indeed, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Ambassador Anil Kumar Trigunayat, former senior diplomat. Thank you for putting this into context for us. Now, moving on to our next story, India's unwavering stance against terrorism takes center stage with a powerful presentation detailing the human cost of terror and a strong message that terror and trade cannot go hand in hand. The Japanese leaders reiterating their support for India and condemning terrorism in all its forms. Our correspondent, Paulami Barman, reports from Tokyo.
The morning breakfast meet organized by the Indian High Commission in Tokyo brought together diplomats from different high commissions in Tokyo, leaders from Mexico, Australia, Korea, Colombia, Liberia and many other countries joined the meeting. The ambassador of India to Japan made a very strong presentation in front of the leaders and the diplomats detailing the years of attack that India has been facing.
We have zero tolerance towards terrorism. Bread and water cannot flow together. Terror and trade cannot happen together. And that is the message we are here. When it comes to fight against terrorism, there is no neutral position. You are either in the fight against terrorism or you are supporting terrorism. There is no midway. That is the message.
As the all-party delegation led by Sanjay Kumar Jha comes to the end of their day 2 in Tokyo, they had several high-level and fruitful meetings with leaders in Tokyo. They had a meeting with the Speaker of the House of Representatives. They in fact had several meetings with the top leaders of Liberal Democratic Party as well. They had a meeting with the Japan-India Parliamentary Friendship Committee leaders, and the leaders have reiterated their pledge to stand by India and support India in their fight against terrorism.
All of them are in support of India's fight against terrorism. As far as Pakistan is concerned, they were aware but no so sensitized like we are facing every day. So we are aware about what Pakistan do. The photographs which you shown them, the lady was sitting with the husband who was killed there. We have shown them the photographs of the army generals of Pakistan attending funeral of the terrorist. So now they are quite sensitized. This visit that way very successful. They are supporting the government. They are supporting India. And now they are seeing that this is across party line. All party are together. Every Indian are together in fight against terrorism. That message is very, very strong.
We have been meeting many people. We also had the opportunity of meeting the honorable members of parliament from Japan, and we had a very lively discussion with them. And everywhere we put forth our viewpoints regarding the April 22 dastardly act of Pakistan that had taken place in Pahalgam, where about 26 innocent tourists had been killed. And that particular incident, I think, has shaken not only India but all parts of the world.
The message of zero tolerance for terrorism was strongly reiterated throughout the day. The members of the delegation made it clear that terror and trade cannot go hand in hand, and a clear signal of united India was portrayed with the visit by leaders coming from different political background and ideologies. The meetings fostered robust and interactive dialogues between the international delegates and the Indian all-party delegation, indicating a receptive audience to India's concerns regarding terrorism.
Still to come here on DD India Newshour. Abu Dhabi sizzles at over 50 degrees Celsius. Carlo Ancelotti holds an emotional last pre-match press conference as Real Madrid coach.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Mark Lynn. While a recent alarming aviation incident has raised serious concerns about regional air safety in the Indian subcontinent, it has also highlighted another inhumane act by Pakistan. Pakistani authorities refused to grant airspace access when an Indian commercial airline carrying 227 passengers sought help to avoid a severe hailstorm after encountering turbulence. The DGCA confirmed that the crew of the Indigo flight from Delhi to Srinagar had requested permission to enter Pakistan's airspace on Wednesday to avoid severe turbulence, but their request was denied. Meanwhile, in a related development, Minister Naidu also announced that India has extended its airspace restrictions against Pakistan registered aircraft, including military flights.
Regarding the emergency landing that has happened with the Delhi-Srinagar flight, we are looking into the incident. DGCA is investigating the incident. Yes, no time has been extended until the time. So this, you have seen that it has been continuing from the last time itself. So that is the status quo that we are maintaining right now.
India's Home Minister Amit Shah attended a Border Security Force investiture ceremony in New Delhi on Friday. At an award ceremony, Amit Shah lauded the Border Security Force, the BSF, for their bravery, dedication and commitment. He emphasized that both the BSF and the armed forces demonstrated exceptional valor and India's defensive strength in its retaliatory action against Pakistan.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ये हमारे प्रधानमंत्री की दृढ़ राजनीतिक इच्छा शक्ति, हमारी सूचना एकत्रित करने वाली संस्थाओं की सटीक सूचना और सेना का मारक क्षमता का अद्भुत प्रदर्शन, ये तीनों मिलता है तब ऑपरेशन सिंदूर बनता है.
Let's take a look at other stories making the news now. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel inaugurated the state's first and India's longest Daroi Adventure Fest at Daroi Dam on Friday. The 45-day event will offer a variety of land, water and air-based adventure activities for tourists. In a tragic incident in Jharkhand's Hazaribagh, 3 people lost their lives after river water flooded an illegal coal mine. A search and rescue operation is underway with machines deployed to pump out the water from the pit. Meanwhile, authorities are still investigating the incident. The Election Commission of India has issued comprehensive instructions for providing mobile deposit facility for voters outside the polling stations and rationalizing norms for canvassing. Only switched off mobile phones within 100 meters of the polling station will be allowed as per the new rules. The United Arab Emirates recorded its highest May temperature on Friday, hitting a scorching 50.4 degrees Celsius in Al Sharjah, which is in Abu Dhabi, according to the National Center of Meteorology. The UAE, known for its extreme summer heat, has been experiencing higher than normal temperatures even before the summer began. And in fact, last month was the hottest April on record, with the average temperature of 42.6 degrees Celsius, surpassing 42.2 degrees Celsius, which it had marked in April of 2017. Authorities urge the public to stay indoors during peak heat hours and hydrate themselves well and wear suitable clothing and also apply sunscreen. Let's get you the sports news now. And Real Madrid's outgoing manager Carlo Ancelotti on Friday gave his last pre-match press conference at the club, saying that it has been an emotional journey for him. Ancelotti, who has managed the club since 2021, is set to take over as manager of Brazil's national team next week. The 65-year-old has enjoyed 4 hugely successful years in his second tenure at the Spanish Giants, but they are set to finish this season without a trophy. Speaking at the press conference ahead of their La Liga match against Real Sociedad, Ancelotti said that there had been a lot of emotions in the days following the announcement of the move on May 12.
When a stage ends, when you have been working on a career, there is a lot of emotions. That's what's happening to me these days. A lot of emotion too. I'm not sad at all. I'm very happy. A very, very important stage in my career has ended. I have tried to do everything I could for this club. We have achieved that, so we are living happy. Happy considering that sooner or later this day had to happen.
The Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah and the Arsenal striker Alicia Russo, they have received their Footballer of the Year awards at the Football Writers Association ceremony. Salah had enjoyed a stellar individual season at Anfield, registering 33 goals and 23 assists in all competitions. He also played a major role in Liverpool's Premier League title win. This is the 3rd time that Salah has won this award. The England forward Russo received the award after enjoying a successful season in North London, clinching the WSL Golden Boot Award with 12 goals and helping her side reach Saturday's Champions League final against Barcelona in Lisbon. The former Sri Lankan cricket captain Angelo Matthews has announced that he will retire from Test cricket in June. Now, the 37-year-old had made his debut in 2009 and will make his final appearance in the first Test against Bangladesh, which starts on the 17th of June in Galle. And he will remain available for Sri Lanka's white ball teams, although he has not featured in a limited overs international since last June. Matthews will retire as Sri Lanka's 3rd highest run scorer in Test cricket. He has 8,167 runs at an average of 44.62, and he also has 118 matches to his credit to date. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Newshour. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lynn. From all of us here in Delhi, thank you very much for watching DD India Newshour. Namaskar.